This whole story began with two lovers. One was a builder, the other a visionary. Together they landed in a forest when they grew trees and houses, gardens and puppies, a child and a thirst for projects, travels, and long-forgotten crafts. They were called the Wildcrafters. This week, you'll have the privilege to peek into one of their minds as this story unfolds before your eyes. Hello my loves! If you're new here, welcome! I'm Noemie, I'm a professional artist and I'm half of the Wildcrafters. But today, I want to dive a little bit deeper in my work as an artist. I've been doing it professionally for 2 years now, and I'm also a sketchbook enthusiast. I really love watching sketchbook tours, and I decided it would be interesting to do a little tour of my current sketchbook and maybe give you a glimpse into what a professional artist is using a sketchbook for and what it looks like, because it may surprise you. Okay, so now that we have our little cup of tea, we are all set. This book has been through a lot. I started it on the 1st of January 2022. It was a gift from my partner Remi. And as you can see, there's a little bit of wear and tear. But overall, it held up really good for the conditions it was in. I always write the date I start and also the date I finish it, and since it's not fully complete yet, I haven't wrote the end date just yet. Okay, so this is the first page. I always try to do something a little bit neat and nicer on the first page, partly because I really like new sketchbooks and I'm always a little bit scared to mess it up. But don't worry, it gets messy very quickly after that. These are sketches for 2 big mural commissions I had to do, and I really enjoy doing charcoal drawings before I do a finished painting, just because it gives me a bit more of distance for the perspective and all, working this small, and then I can take that concept and make it big without worrying too much about composition. It's really good to play around with charcoal because you can push and pull it and create the composition that you really like from there. These little things are, I call them like brain captures. Basically, it's my state of mind that I put into image, and it's a really good warm-up, just to warm up my hand before I start drawing for real. This one was for another mural commission, and this was just to experiment drawing horses because I really like them. These are studies of wildlife, underwater wildlife there is on the west coast of Canada, because I was traveling in Haida at that period of time. If you've been following us for quite some time, so you've probably seen the videos we made when we were there. Once again, this was the sketch for a commission that I've done with charcoal. And these things are just color testing, I should say. And sometimes I just finish my palettes. When there's paint left over my palette, I like to lay it down in my sketchbook just to test out some color combination or different textures. I see a lot of those very polished videos of people flipping through amazing sketchbooks with all finished artworks in it. Spoiler alert, this is not my case. I really use my sketchbook for experimenting and trying out new things that often don't work out at all. And I also like to capture memories and moments and just things that interest me in the moment. So stay tuned for the full tour. Okay, yeah, I just used my sketchbook for a palette. You know, I was traveling and I didn't have all of my supplies, so I just decided to open the sketchbook and use it as my palette. This is another underwater sketch in charcoal, but this one I've experimented with sealing it with acrylic medium just to see what finish it would give it. And these ugly little things, I do a lot of them. Those are thumbnails. I like to do those just to test the composition, because having a very strong composition in my work has been a struggle throughout my journey, and I realized that I didn't plan enough in advance when I was doing my finished artwork. So I started implementing that practice into my everyday client work, and it really helped a lot, because you can see when you do something that small, you can see where things need to go and where do you want your focal point to be. Yeah, these are just random studies that I've done over the toned paper. Yeah, so that was supposed to be the mountains reflecting on the lake, but I didn't have time to finish it and didn't have time to seal it either, so it messed up the other page, but that's okay. That's what sketchbooks are for, right? Again, just little study. I've never been really good at drawing with ballpoint pen, and when I was in the car during the trip, I practiced doing those random hatches for shading. So yeah, I drew this and this little hand, and this is like half of a face underwater, but didn't have time to finish this one. I was thinking about doing a woman with an eagle for painting, and this idea evolved into one of my favorite paintings that I've done, which doesn't look like that at all, but this idea was sparked right there. Yeah, these are two little studies that I've done again in the car. I used the fact that the car was so like shaky and wobbly to do like these random marks for shading again. Yeah, this is just a little very quick gouache study. This took me about 5 minutes. Oh, actually this is a pencil underneath and just a layer of gouache on top. I really like to put the date on all my drawings so I can see my progress throughout the years. This is a random little gouache study that I've done with Remi gouache. I was testing the student grade gouache, and this, she is really cross-eyed. But this actually is the continuation of this idea that I had of a woman with the eagle, and I decided that I wanted to do a Native American woman. But yeah, I'm not used to painting these types of facial features, so I struggled a lot and I had to practice her several times before she looked good and not crossed-eyed. This is just how do you call that? You know, like stream of consciousness writing? This is the same principle, but it's with drawing. I was just doodling whatever came up in my mind in that moment. Oh, this is a little hand practice, and I just studied my own hand. I tried to draw my hand as I was drawing. Yeah, it was a good exercise overall. This is again a stream of consciousness drawing. I was thinking about all these little things, so I drew them. This is a moth. I really like moths. I don't like them in reality, but I really enjoy drawing them. I'm a bit scared of moths actually, but that's a whole story, maybe for another time. These are just practice studies. And you'll see, I just practice a lot, and I think that's the thing people don't realize about artists, is that we don't just sit down at our easel and paint these amazing things. We have to practice and practice again and fail and practice some more. So this is an example of the type of practice I would do. I try to sketch really quickly, so I capture my first impression of the subject, and sometimes I can draw it pretty accurately on the first draft, but sometimes it just doesn't work, like her. Some more little doodle for practice. Here, oh, this is an attempt at a quick figure study, but I just gave up on it and I moved on to drawing half of this car for some reason. And then I was experimenting with blending two subjects together. So I had this photo reference of a skull and the photo reference of this butterfly, and I tried to mush them together as one subject, and I really enjoyed doing that, so I might incorporate some of that into my art. This is just another charcoal study. I really like drawing with charcoal. It's really amazing what you can do with that medium. Some more studies. Oh, some really failed practice. I don't know what happened to me during that day, but I just couldn't draw for some reason. But still, yeah, the proportions of all of these are so wacky. And what is this, you know? Yeah, bad stuff happens, and that's normal. You know, sometimes you're just not in the mood, but the most important thing is to still sit down and practice. Oh, this is just... I was just playing with my pencil and drew everything that was born under my pencil. These are little doodles for a logo. It ended up being this one. Yeah, this is a hospital chair. I was at the hospital and I just drew whatever was in front of me. And I drew a tiger. Yeah, trying out my hand again with the pan pastels, but they're just like so fuzzy. I don't know how to be precise with them. These were objects from my friend's place, and I just arranged them that way and decided to draw that because I wanted to practice drawing from life a little bit. This is just a random face study that I probably found on Pinterest. And this, I was just testing out this gold pen, gel pen that I have, so I just doodled but didn't finish doodling it. Here I was experimenting with drawing with pen. So I did a little, the thumbnails again for a very big mural that I've done with my daughter. Yeah, and just random little drawings. These are all from my imagination. These were just random little doodles. This one I've done with a brush pen that I refilled with this olive green ink. And again, the blue pen that I was talking about. I really enjoyed drawing with it for a while. These are, I think, 2 minutes or 5 minutes figure drawings. This, I don't know what this is, please. I'm sorry. And I did this little boat just because boats are fun to draw. Over the course of my journey in becoming a professional artist, people often ask me if doing art as my work has somehow killed my passion for it a little bit. And to be honest, it could have been. There's a difference between drawing and painting only what you're interested in and what feels good in the moment, and doing art to please a customer or to please an audience. And it can sometimes feel a little bit less of a freeing thing to do, you know? So my sketchbook has been a very big part of keeping the spark alive for me, you know? This is my safe place where I can just be the full spectrum of what I can be as an artist. I can experiment, I can also make bad art, you know? It's nice to have a place that is allowed to be messy and just imperfect. Oh, I really like that page. These are all trees that I drew out of my head, basically. I was just doodling and practicing, like wiggling the pen to achieve these little doodles. And sometimes when I have ideas for a series or just a concept in mind but I don't have time to sketch it, I will write it down. I have trouble with eyes, you know? My eyes are always off. Either they are not looking in the same direction or they're too big for the face, but I think that's a common mistake that people make, myself included. I really like to practice my hatching and cross-hatching because this is a very difficult technique for me. Some people, you know, are more at ease with drawing and some more with painting, and this is my case. Drawing for me is not as comfortable as painting, so I have to practice more. I don't know what these are, but they look cute. Oh, these are little horse and girl studies. And a lot of these drawing I'm doing when I'm not at home, when we're either in the car or with friends and just hanging out. So I will take out my sketchbook and doodle in those times, or when I'm in a waiting room for something, it's a time that I use for sketching. These are little studies of photos, random photos that I had on my phone. Oh, these are little sky composition that I quickly laid down with gouache. This is a little imaginary landscape. I've been drawing that in the car again, and a face that just appeared as I was drawing. I tend to stick to just one body type, you know. I draw women a lot, but I never draw either men or a larger woman, and I wanted to play around with different body type. This is a practice for a series that I'm doing, and I also do these little color swatches because I try to narrow my art down to color themes now and try to match these colors together. Yeah, this is again a sketch for the same series. This one was a horse that I wanted the mane to become a waterfall and then have these little dancers around the horse, which is the main subject. And the other one is the other way around. I want this woman to have the drape as becoming waterfalls and have little horses stands out from the water. Oh, and I really enjoyed this little doodle. It took me like 5 minutes and I think it turned out really good. And I really love drawing different skin tones, and darker skin tones are really interesting to me because you can play with very intense and rich colors. Beautiful. This is a little drape study and a rock that didn't turn out good. This is Remi. So if this is your first video of us, this is my partner. He was just hanging around in the rocking chair, wearing his robe and watching YouTube videos, and I just sketched him. Here I was trying to understand more of the anatomy of the face. So yeah, I drew this like skull-like construction, and then I tried to understand the plane shift that was happening in the face and practice some more expressions. This I was just explaining a very weird thing to my friend, that I was saying that when I look at my dogs straight, like, and I don't see the rest of their body, I imagine these little characters when they have the dog head, and this is just like the pants and their legs. So yeah, was funny at the time, but now it just doesn't make sense anymore. This is a sketch I've done for a commission I received, a drawing commission. I actually made my very first TikTok video doing this artwork. Just random doodles. I like to do these doodles when I need to relax, and my mind tends to wander a lot sometimes when I'm drawing, so doing these little things just keep me in the present moment, because you know, drawing is also kind of a therapy for me. These are again thumbnails for a client, and then I studied some more of a wolf face, but I didn't like how the proportion of this one didn't came out like super right, but still was good practice. Oh, this is me and Remi. We went on a date. Yeah, more thumbnails for another commission. Just hairstyle study. And yeah, another gouache study. I can't help but find this one quite creepy. Could be good, but it's also very creepy, like the way that she's looking straight at us, you know. Yeah, some more animal studies, and then now you can see how messy it can be in my head sometimes. And I really like when that happens and I'm feeling like super anxious or things like that. I like to take out all the mess and put it on a page. So I just drew random lines and just, yeah, again, stream of consciousness drawing. And I was feeling very overwhelmed when I drew this, and by the end of it, I was much calmer. I feel like it just takes out some of the clutter in my mind. This is the drawing I've been doing after this one, and you can see like my state of mind just changed. And this one is much more orderly, and I really like that it looks like these maps. When I don't know what's the name in English of them, but you can see the, I think it's topography, not too sure. But when you can see the elevation of the ground on the map, so this would be pretty steep mountains, I guess. Oh, this page, it's exciting actually. It's the first page of my tattoo flashbook, because I will start tattooing in a local tattoo shop that we have in my village. Yeah, some just practice doodle. This is a drawing of Frida Kahlo that I've done in just HB pencil. A horse study. I really like when I do have the time to draw a bit more. I like to practice realism. It takes time to build up a drawing to be realistic, but when I have a couple hours, I will definitely do more of these practices. This is a sketch of a tattoo that I have on myself, actually. This came from that drawing. This is Lana Del Rey, if you didn't recognize her. This is just a page that I filled out with my daughter, so some of these doodles aren't mine. That's fine. I'm not precious with my sketchbooks or anything. This is just a color combination study. I wanted to try different, like more muted colors for a sunset. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's a old man kissing a old woman hand, but I probably didn't have time to finish that either. Oh no, I know. This is a water-soluble graphite, and I just wanted to test this new medium. Oh, this is the practice for, or idea brainstorming for the new logo of the Wildcrafters that you might see pretty soon. If you're wondering why there's holes in my sketchbook, it's because I've been doing tattoos for a filming crew that came over to our house to film our lifestyle for 3 days, and they ended up getting tattoos. So I was practicing the drawings, and the one that they actually liked the most, I did the stencil from my sketchbook. So yeah, that's why there are parts missing. Yeah, these are the stencils. Oh, this is a picture of my daughter. And yeah, it's not completed, this sketchbook. There's 4 pages left, so I will finish it pretty soon. But I want to show, before I let you go, that at the end of it, I do test my pens, and also I use this one Remi used for making plans and calculation for another project. So yeah, this isn't entirely my sketchbook, I guess, but that's fine. So yeah, that's the end. I wanted to make this video because, you know, when you see only the finished artwork of an artist, you can be led into believing that they're only producing very good stuff, and it puts a pressure for you to also make great stuff all the time. But the reality is, and I think this is true for all artists out there, you make bad art sometime, and be allowed to do so is very normal, and very freeing also. So I really encourage you to keep a sketchbook, whether you're just a drawing enthusiast or a professional artist. Everybody who likes art whatsoever could benefit from having one. It's like having a visual diary, and I think it's very cool to look back to my old sketchbooks and see all the progress that I've made. So yeah, I leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my sketchbook and that it gave you an idea of what a realistic and useful sketchbook looks like. I hope you enjoyed having a little peek at my artist brain. And I see you next week. Bye bye.